Today in our final touch, he's got a Super Bowl championship ring, and now he's starring in a daytime soap opera.
What more could you want? It's Drew Pearson, most known from his days back, 30, 40 years ago now with the Dallas Cowboys, number 88. But now he's trying out his talents as a soap star. Pearson guest stars on Young and the Restless tomorrow on CBS and WISC-TV 3. There he is, a self-professed Y&R superfan. He plays Dwayne, a bodyguard for who else?
Victor Newman.
Y&R. 5 years now, 29 consecutive years as daytime's #1 drama. You can see. Right now at 5, he's been on the nation's highest court for decades. Now Justice Kennedy is retiring. How this will impact rulings.
A ruling from the Supreme Court delivers a sharp blow to labor unions. How the move will impact millions of employees across the country.
And every house has a story. The University of Wisconsin-Madison saying goodbye to its storied science house.
This is News 3 at 5.
Thanks for staying with us. One of the longest-serving Supreme Court justices in history has decided to retire.
Justice Anthony Kennedy announced his retirement today. He has been on the court for more than 30 years, and today's decision comes 1 month before his 82nd birthday. Kennedy is a moderate conservative who often casts the powerful swing vote in many cases. In 2015, he wrote the majority opinion in the case that legalized same-sex marriage. With his retirement, President Trump has the potential to reshape the court for years to come. The president says he will nominate Kennedy's successor from a list of 25 names already under consideration. The Senate Majority Leader says lawmakers will vote on a nominee in the fall.
And the Supreme Court ruling against public labor unions. Today, justices struck down a law out of Illinois that forced non-union workers to pay fees that go toward collective bargaining. The court believes mandatory union dues violated First Amendment rights. The ruling overturns a nearly 40-year-old court precedent. The decision could impact millions of employees in more than 20 states with similar laws. Public sector unions say they are required by law to represent all employees, whether they are part of the union or not. So how does this ruling from the nation's highest court impact our state? Rose Schmidt has been looking into that matter. She joins us now live in the News Center. Rose?
Well, Eric, today's decision means government workers who choose not to join a union may not be required to help pay for collective bargaining. The effects of today's ruling were largely felt in Wisconsin back when Governor Walker signed Act 10 into law in 2011. Act 10 already did everything the High Court's decision did today, except that Act 10 exempted police and firefighters. But today's decision does not exempt them. So that means going forward, public safety employees will not be required to pay to cover the costs of negotiating their contracts like other unions in our state.
So it will definitely have an impact on public unions nationwide. That's likely to have an impact, of course, on the Democratic Party as well. So this is going to have some fairly long-reaching implications.
The state's firefighter and police unions have confirmed that their members will be impacted by today's decision. The Professional Firefighters of Wisconsin's president called the ruling a slap in the face and an ongoing assault in workers' rights that started in Wisconsin after Act 10 was passed. Now, the Madison Teachers Union says today's decision is bad news for public sector unions across the country, but the ruling does not have any direct impact on its members here in our state.
All right, Rose Schmidt in the News Center tonight. Rose, thank you.
President Trump is warning Harley-Davidson that he, quote, won't forget about its decision to shift some motorcycle production overseas. The president is also suggesting the company will lose out to its competitors. Harley-Davidson, of course, is based in Wisconsin. Monday, the company announced it plans to move some of its production to foreign markets because of retaliatory tariffs that it faces in an escalating trade dispute between the United States and the European Union. Meanwhile, the Harley threats come as President Trump prepares to spend some time in Milwaukee. He plans to attend the ceremonial groundbreaking of the Foxconn factory in southeastern Wisconsin. The president plans to speak at the Foxconn site tomorrow. He'll also hold a closed-door fundraiser in Milwaukee, a couple miles from Harley's headquarters. Governor Scott Walker is up for re-election this fall and has been touting the Foxconn project as a sign that the economy is strong in Wisconsin. The plant could eventually employ 13,000 people.
So new state representatives serving people in parts of Columbia, Dodge, and Marquette counties. Republican John Plummer sworn in by Assembly Speaker Robin Vos at the Capitol this afternoon. Plummer, you'll recall, beat out his Democratic opponent to win a special election earlier this month in the 42nd district.
I'm humbled to be standing in this beautiful building. And I remember coming here for the first time as a young child thinking how stunning this building is, and I feel the exact same way today at 63 years old, and I'm guessing that feeling will probably never go away.
Now, that seat had been vacant for months after Governor Walker appointed the former Representative Keith Ripp to a position with the state Agriculture Department. Plummer will have to run again for the seat in November's general election.
Court documents show a driver admitted to drinking and taking LSD before a deadly crash last Saturday. 22-year-old Gavin Viam was in court today, where bail was set at $25,000. Police say he is responsible for a crash at John Nolan Drive and South Blair Street that killed a 45-year-old Madison man. During today's hearing, Viam was ordered to wear a GPS monitor. He is also not allowed to drive or drink and will be randomly drug tested and must be monitored by GPS.
All right, a little calmer out there today than 24 hours ago. Let's get a look at your First Alert weather meteorologist Dave Caulfield joining us in the Weather Center. Dave.
Eric, we have had some spotty showers so far throughout this Wednesday, but things are definitely looking nice this evening. Visible cloud track showing not too many clouds still around across southern Wisconsin. Doppler track is a lot quieter compared to about 24 hours ago, and I think those spotty showers are done. Good amount of sunshine showing up in Platteville on our Queen Bee Radio Skycam. Also some puffy cumulus clouds. Temperatures are in the upper 70s and low 80s across southern Wisconsin. 79 in Watertown and Mineral Point, 78 in Monroe, 80 in Madison, and 76 in Viroqua. Dew points are in the mid-60s, so a little bit on the humid side, but that humidity goes into the stratosphere as we head into the next couple of days. It will feel very hot and humid outside, but this evening, not too bad. Partly cloudy with mild temps and temperatures dropping into the upper 60s. We'll talk more about that heat and humidity and about the tornadoes yesterday in your First Alert forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Dave, and speaking of which, the day after those two tornadoes hit Lafayette County, the National Weather Service is surveying just how strong they were. Both didn't touch down for long. The first in western Lafayette County, just east of Platteville, hit a few cornfields before dying out. It was so small it didn't even show up on the National Weather Service radar. No one was caught up in it, so a warning wasn't sent out to the area.
We're not going to get a whole lot of lead time, if any, in these weaker tornado situations, but we're just thankful that there weren't any injuries or significant damage that did occur.
Now, a firefighter did call in the one in Argyle. It was also pretty quick. There wasn't much time between the sirens and touchdown. Both tornadoes rated at level EF0, the lowest level, but also the most common in the United States. And some areas of the state and federal properties are closed in northern Wisconsin as officials assess damage from recent flooding. Several state parks, trails, bridges, and beaches are all damaged there. Some of the trails remain underwater. State officials expect repairs to be made over the next 6 to 8 weeks.
A historic house on the UW-Madison campus will soon be demolished. The Science House has been home to a number of things since its construction in the 1800s, including famous artist Aaron Borod. News 3's Adam Duxter spent time with Borod's family today and joins us with how they feel about this, Adam.
Well, that's right. Aaron Borod was a world-famous artist known for his still-life paintings. For 25 years, he was a live-in artist at the University of Wisconsin, painting in that Science House. But now the house is slated to be demolished to make way for a renovation to next door's Babcock Hall. The home was built in 1868, and in 1998, UW tried to register it as a historic landmark, but couldn't. Today, I talked with Neil Borod, Aaron Borod's son, who says he wishes the university could do something to preserve the legacy of the house.
It would be wonderful if it could be preserved with a plaque to my dad's memory and a little bit of history there, but I think the odds of that happening are slim.
According to a faculty member for the Division of Facilities Planning and Management, the home is in too poor of shape to repair, and it's always incredible to see how much a home can mean, and I don't think the story for Neil Borod's any different. Coming up at 6, we'll hear more from Neil, including some of his favorite memories spent there.
End of an era, for sure. Looking forward to hearing more about that. We'll see you at 6. Thank you, Adam.
Madison Alder Mark Clear is resigning from his position. He wrote about his decision to do so in a blog post this afternoon. Now, Clear has been an Alder for 11 years, and we'll have more on what's in store for District 19 tonight on News 3 at 10. The Henry Vilas Zoo in Madison seeing some major upgrades. We've told you about them before, and county leaders today gathered for a ribbon-cutting ceremony at the zoo after spending the last few months figuring out the contracts to upgrade some of the facilities there, including the restrooms, concessions area, and outdoor patio space near the Flamingo exhibit.
We're really proud of what's been going on at our zoo, from the new exhibits to the new animals that we have, and now again increasing our capacity to make sure that the facilities are adequate for the visitors and the families that come to see our animals.
The project cost about $1.6 million. Attendance at the zoo recently reached its highest levels in recent years, thanks in part to the new Arctic Passage exhibit.
Here's something to keep in mind if you're attending tonight's first concert on the square. The Capitol Square closed at 3 o'clock this afternoon and remains that way until midnight. The road closures push buses back a block away from the Capitol, and other areas of construction in Madison might impact the route that you take downtown. City officials recommend giving yourself plenty of time to maneuver the construction and to find parking. The concert begins at 7 o'clock.
Children who rely on school meals often struggle to get enough to eat during these summer months. News 3, the Goodman Community Center and other local partners want to change that with a Hunger Heroes campaign.
Our Keely Arthur is live on the east side at Players Sports Bar to share how they're helping out. Keely?
That's right. Well, bars may not be known as the most philanthropic of places, but Players Sports Bar is about 8 blocks away from the Goodman Community Center, and so they do a lot of work with them. I have here with me the owner of Players Sports Bar, Mark Kroon. Mark, what are you doing this year with Hunger Heroes?
Well, we're doing a lot of things. We got a great raffle going on where we're going to raise a lot of good money for them to buy extra food that we're not going to, besides the food that we're taking in here. The great thing is we got so many great customers that just go way above and beyond, that it just makes doing these kind of things so much easier when you have such a caring group of people.
And you said that you expect this to double in the next hour or two, this display of food.
Yeah, I would say it's probably going to double or triple. A lot of people are coming in later we're going to be taking donations till 8 o'clock. The raffle's going to be going on then. We're giving away a lot of good stuff. We're giving away burgers for a year. We're giving away barrels of beer. We're giving away brewer tickets. We're giving away a lot of good stuff, a lot of player swag. Come on down if you're in the neighborhood. Bring your food. If you can't bring it down here before 8, you can take it down to the Goodman Center tomorrow. They're going to be packaging it up on Friday, and it's all for a great cause.
Thank you so much, Mark. And this Hunger Heroes event is going on through Saturday. You can donate your food directly to the Goodman Community Center, bring it to Hy-Vee, bring it here to Players Sports Bar, or even Festival Foods. We will have more on this coming up on News 3 at 6. Back to you.
All right, Keely, thank you very much.
And thanks to Mark. Boy, really a great effort there. A lot of food collected. We appreciate their help. Still to come tonight at 5, police surround a JetBlue plane after a false hijacking alarm goes off at JFK Airport. One passenger describes the scene.
And firework accidents send people to the hospital every day. We're sharing ways you can stay safe while still celebrating the 4th of July a little later on News 3 at 5. Passengers on a JetBlue flight say they were terrified when armed officers suddenly stormed their plane in New York. Flashing lights surrounded the jet last night. This was at JFK Airport. It was about to take off for LA when an equipment failure caused pilots to lose communication. Then a false alarm led to a massive police presence. The pilots mistakenly had entered the 4-digit code of 7500. That stands for hijack, apparently, instead of 7600, which signals radio failure.
I thought I was gonna die. And how they were pointing the guns, they were pointing them at us. People were crying, everyone's texting their family, and we were on the ground. So usually this would happen in the air if it was gonna happen. Yeah, people were ready to die.
Police found no security issues on board, gave the all clear. The plane returned to the gate for a while as the crew was assigned a new crew and did eventually get off to Los Angeles after about a 4-hour delay. Firefighters are trying to figure out what caused a fire at a golf warehouse. This was in California, located in Orange County, the Anaheim area south of Los Angeles. It is unclear how much damage was done.
And luckily, no one was hurt here, but quite a mess when a semi carrying 80,000 pounds of potatoes crashed in South Carolina this morning. The driver of another car ran a red light, hitting the truck. Emergency crews did not say how many potatoes were lost.
It's all about the potatoes, right? Your dad wasn't involved in that driving.
I hope not. I hope not.
Potato mess on the highway down there. Dave Caulfield on the backyard patio. We mentioned earlier, a little calmer today. Certainly a little less work for you guys.
Yeah, it was definitely some messy weather yesterday across southern Wisconsin with multiple tornadoes on the ground at times, flash flooding, some hail, some gusty winds, really everything that you could think of in the severe weather book visited us on Tuesday, but it's a much calmer Wednesday. But let's take a look at those tornadoes. We did have 3 tornadoes confirmed for southern Wisconsin on Tuesday. Our first one was near Georgetown. That was an EF0 tornado. All of these actually came in with the EF0 tornado, the weakest but most common tornado with 65-mile-per-hour winds in that twister. Then there was one that formed about 5 miles south of Rui, also EF0 tornado, max winds of 70 miles per hour and winds of 80 miles per hour observed in the tornado 2 miles northwest of Argyle. We got a lot of great pictures in yesterday, and luckily everybody was okay and no major damage associated with that, so that's good. But it could have been a lot worse. We talked about this yesterday, what we need to get these severe thunderstorms and tornadoes to form. The acronym SLIM, which is shear, lift, instability, and moisture. We had plenty of shear, lift, and moisture, but if we had more instability, and that usually gets here by some sunshine because the sun heats up the ground and there's a lot of energy for the atmosphere to play with, so to speak. If we had more instability yesterday, things could have been a whole lot worse. So we actually did dodge a little bit of a bullet, if you can believe that. Doppler track much quieter today compared to 24 hours ago. A few spotty showers tried to form closer to about 1 or 2 this afternoon. Actually, some light rain reported at the airport, but really nothing that we could have worried about or needed to worry about. So this evening is looking nice in downtown Madison. The Edgewater Skycam a little bit on the humid side, but comparatively, it feels pretty nice, especially when you look at how hot and humid it's going to be over the next couple of days. Today's high of 80 degrees, right about normal for this time of year. But temperatures are creeping closer to the 90s over the next few days and as we head into the last weekend of June. Temperatures in some other spots, 81 in Janesville, 79 in Watertown, 80 in Platteville, and 83 the warm spot in Boscobel. Dew points are in the mid-60s, so definitely a little bit humid outside. Wind speeds not too bad at about 5 to 10 miles per hour out of the north right now. Our high temperature trend, lots of red showing up here, folks. If we're lucky, we'll be in the mid-80s over the next 7 days. But it does look like temperatures will really hang out in the 90s as a bug landed on my nose there. Our normal is about low 80s, so we are definitely running above normal for the next few days, and that has prompted alert days for Friday and Saturday for heat index values in the low triple digits. We could even get higher than that. We are playing this a little bit conservative right now because it all depends on those dew points. If we get the dew points to really start rising, and it's possible with all the rain that we've received lately, those heat index values could go way up further than that. And some strong thunderstorms are possible on Sunday, so that's why the alert day is in for that day. Tonight, partly cloudy, mild with some patchy fog possible and temperatures in the mid-60s. For tomorrow, partly sunny with a heat index value in the low 90s at times. Temperatures should make it into the 80s, so it will feel like the low 90s as we head into Thursday afternoon at times. But on Friday is really when we're going to start to feel this. Look at that, triple digits basically for everybody in the feels like department. And as I mentioned, if we get those dew points to go up a little bit higher, which is definitely possible, we could be looking at some very, very high heat index values. So stay safe over the next couple of days because it will definitely be hot and humid. As we head into next week, we have those chances for some strong thunderstorms on Sunday. Then temperatures hanging out right around 90 degrees with some slight chances for storms, including on July 4th. So we'll have to watch that closely, but it definitely looks hot and humid for the foreseeable future, as you might expect for summer. So summer definitely in full swing. Your first alert traffic update, taking a look at the Beltline at Todd Drive. We are seeing some slowdowns in the eastbound direction, so no major accidents or incidents across Dane County, but the normal slowdown showing up on the Beltline. Still looking good closer to the interstate and Stoughton Road, but for Park Street and John Nolan Drive, near there on the Beltline and back closer to Seminole Highway, we are noticing those delays. Verona Road to John Nolan Drive, that's 15 minutes right now with an average speed right around 15 miles per hour. And that is your first alert traffic. We've been pretty lucky overall over the last couple of months. We've had a couple of hot stretches, but really not long periods of hot weather. I think that changes as we head into the end of this month and the beginning of July.
Yes, happy July.
Yes.
The heat
Blast
is on.
of summer
Yeah.
coming. Dave,
All right,
thank you.
thanks, Dave.
And fireworks, of course, will be going off over the next few days or so as people begin to celebrate the 4th of July holiday. Some important safety reminders. Susan always loves this video, and we'll have more of these exciting pictures to come on News 3 at 5. With the 4th of July next week, doctors are reminding people about the dangers of fireworks.
Yes, 1 week from today. Can you believe it? Mola Lengi shares ways you can stay safe and still celebrate.
Joseph Livingston is an active, healthy 7-year-old boy, but getting back here has been a long road. 2 years ago, Joseph and his family were at a barbecue watching fireworks.
Fireworks were out in the cul-de-sac.
I think this is a pretty good safe distance. I mean, we're a good 60 feet away.
Joseph was hit, suffering 2nd and 3rd degree burns on his backside.
The firework went up his short leg and was in between his underwear and his shorts. It got caught on fire.
Nearly 13,000 people ended up in the ER last year because of fireworks injuries, and 8 people died. Dr. Therese Canaries at Johns Hopkins Hospital says burns are the most common.
Sometimes with flying projectiles, the eyes are vulnerable to injury. And in extreme circumstances, I have seen children who have been holding explosives and end up with amputations.
The Consumer Product Safety Commission hopes these demonstrations can prevent more injuries. Even just a sparkler can reach 2,000 degrees, as hot as a blowtorch.
Take precautions, make sure you have a bucket of water there. Make sure that you are watching those fireworks at all times. Don't relight a dud and don't stand over a firework. It could go off in your face.
Joseph spent 4 days in the hospital, needed months of follow-up, and is still receiving treatment.
He still gets very startled at loud noises. Thunder still scares him, but he's come a long way.
Be more careful than you think you have to be even.
His parents hope sharing his story will keep others safe. Mola Lengi, CBS News, Baltimore, Maryland.
That is that time of the year where you have to take extra precautions, and you hear them, you see a lot of them going on out there. As Susan mentioned, just a week from tonight already is the 4th of July holiday. So, still coming up tonight, even if the injuries, well, that's enough of that story. Let's move on. We'll have another check of the weather when we return.
Tonight on the CBS Evening News, we will talk with Jan Crawford about who is on the short list to replace retiring Justice Anthony Kennedy on the Supreme Court. We will ride with Border Patrol as they raid a stash house, a smuggling trend on the rise. And the wonderful story of the man who created the Sox president George H.W. Bush wore as a tribute to his late wife. Tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Finally at 5, when you're craving something sweet, sometimes only a donut will do.
That's so true, Eric. This was the case for this sticky-pawed squirrel. He visited the Anchorage Police Department to nab one, but unfortunately for Mr. Squirrel, the whole robbery was caught on camera. Police are asking for any information that could lead to the recovery of the pink sprinkled donuts.
That's my favorite flavor.
That's a powerful squirrel there. That's
very
like,
cute.
like lugging half his body weight there.
And not losing a step at all.
Let's go to Dave and finally look at that forecast.
We have temperatures right now near 80 degrees, and across the area, some 70s and low 80s also showing up. Tomorrow, we make it into the mid-80s.
They were like, quit talking about the squirrel. We're running out of time, people. We'll see you at 6.